Man, welcome back, man. I don't know what in the world, y'all. I don't know what happened there. So we got our special guest in the building, man, Mr. Zeph Baker. Y'all welcome Mr. Zeph Baker to the show. Yes, sir.
I can tell you what happened. Facebook watching and said, "Oh, y'all about to put somebody on? Psych! Not today. We ain't doing that. You ain't get no big numbers on us today."
Oh my goodness. All right, man. We got the man himself running for state representative. You good? Hey, EJ, introduce our guest, man, and we're gonna let him tell us all about himself, man.
All right, this young old man, cause he both at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really need an explanation. He's been out here in the city for a long time. I'm gonna let him tell y'all about him. It's Mr. Zeph Baker.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here, and really, appreciate you all kind of just bearing with me. I was out campaigning this morning, waving signs, getting ready to knock on doors now that people are actually up. And, we're just looking forward to big things happening in the district. It's been a long time coming for, really new energy to be brought to the district because we need more businesses. We need more opportunities for South Columbus. And look, I make no mistake about it, never have. I am from
They say
South
put your
Columbus.
mouth to it like when you get close to something. You know, put your mouth to it.
I got you. So you're making me kiss the mic. That's what I need to do. So, but we need South Columbus has been neglected for a long time, and I am that candidate that brings new energy to bring not only opportunities. You know what I've done when it comes to youth programs, athletic programs. I've built 2 schools, 2 education centers here in the Chattahoochee Valley area. That educate kids from that have different backgrounds from all the way to preschool all the way K through 12. So I'm not the candidate that talks about what I will do once I get in office, but I am simply asking the community to vote for itself because I'm a product of this community so that I can continue doing what I have always been doing in my city. I'm a product of this city. Born and reared here, born and raised. Love Columbus. I've traveled the world, but the best place is the place that I call home, and that's here in Columbus, Georgia.
So I heard you got some church connections.
Well, grew up in church now. My dad's a pastor. I'm a PK, but it wasn't us preachers kids, man. It was them deacon boys, man. Those kids, man, they influenced us heavily. So
you gonna blame the deacon for
the deacon? That's right. The whole board, man. All they kids.
They spoiled y'all. That's what it was. They told you can get away with anything.
You get away with anything. We got your back. Yeah.
So how has that molded you and some of the ways that you think and the way that you're trying to move politically?
Well, when you talk about church, we can talk about and we can joke about everything with the PK and the deacons and everything. But one thing about it is, the preacher serves, and the deacons they serve, relentlessly. They're there every Sunday. They're there sacrificing time away from their families to ensure that others are able to be met in their time of need. And so that type of thinking, that's what I grew up in. My dad was the type of pastor that was going to your house, knocking on doors. I'd be right there with him though. He would carry me. And one thing he taught me was service to others. Zeph, you have to love the people. Even when the deacon board is upset with the pastor, the choir, may be upset, or somebody is upset because certain, amount of time, whatever. You have a lot of things going on in the church. But one thing about it is you have to love the people, and that's what keeps you going on. And everybody knows, look, I've been probably the most challenged candidate out here. And I'm talking about, but I've done the most in the community as a candidate before. I don't care anybody who's sitting in the local seats or even campaigning. I don't know anybody who is in elected capacity that has built 2 schools before they got into office. Wow. I don't know anybody who is in elected office who has actually put their own personal money into buying back the block. I have a buy back the block program where I have other investors in South Columbus because Listen, make no doubt about it. And this is one thing that we cannot give ourselves excuses anymore. There's been a shift. Before, it was just black people were happy to, hey, man, so-and-so, they working at the bank now. We got somebody down there working we got somebody on city council now. Well, that was then, but this is now. Now, what are we doing with those positions? Now that we're in those positions, it's not enough just to be there. We need to get some things done.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, man, South Columbus is lacking. District 140, and I love Dean Smyer. He definitely paved the way, 48 years of being a public servant. But I will say that over the last 5 to 10 years, we've seen people moving outside of the district. Nobody wants to stay in the neighborhoods in District 140 because what they're doing now is they're looking for that promotion, they're looking for that pay raise, and so that they can be able to afford moving to other neighborhoods outside of District 140. Well, that's going to change when you put me in office because I am going to go to the State House for my district. I'm going to go to the State House for Columbus, for District 140 to bring back resources.
So when you say District 140 for slow people that don't know, what is District 140?
Okay, District 140 is Oakland Park, all the way to downtown, all the way up to Bellwood, okay? So basically you got the south side, downtown and midtown, because you also have to throw in the Spiderweb, Rigdon Road, Ilgis Road, Lindsay Creek, Boxwood, Carriage Estates, Emerald Forest, going back down Macon Road to
Clover
downtown.
Lane, Andrews Road.
Clover Lane, Andrews Road, everything in between. I'm naming like the corners, and then you fill in everything in between. Winton, So all of that is District 140. And we know that, Boxwood is not the same destination neighborhood like it used to be.
Right. Prominent.
Exactly. Lindsay Creek is not that destination neighborhood that it used to be. And so what you'll get, I'm going to go up there to bring back the goods, to bring the bag back from Atlanta so that we can have the opportunities in District 140 so that people outside of Columbus will come here. People inside of Columbus, okay, in other districts, will seek to have a destination location in District 140. Listen, the greatest potential in Columbus is South Columbus. We have to stop looking at it as it is a place to move away from. It has the greatest potential. Everything else has pretty much reached its potential. But you look at the fact that South Columbus has the natural resource of the river. You go to other cities, and if you stay on the river, man, you live it. You know what I mean? So why have we not developed South Columbus, that river in South Columbus? We've developed it from the trade center going north, but we have not had the same development from the trade center going south.
I ain't gonna say what I said yesterday because yesterday got us kicked off. anything behind the trade center, behind that railroad track and back, they can't do no digging back that way. I'm gonna leave that right there.
Well, it's cleanup time. Let me just say that it's cleanup time.
Might have to pull up some folks. Most folks might have to go to jail behind stuff. Buddy Brian might be real busy go back that way. But anyway,
so what we want to do is, because we have Fort Benning, we have the Trade Center, and that is an area of great potential. And you cannot do the work if you don't have any vision for the work. And so I believe that's what we've lacked. That's what we have room to grow here in Columbus, Georgia, and that is to I provide that vision, I provide that new energy, and it's not because of just me. It's because I talk with the people. Man, I'm here. People know me. We were just talking about Very Best Donuts. I know Very Best Donuts. You understand what I'm saying? I know Martin Luther King. I
used to hoop at the Y. AJ McClone.
We used to hoop at the Y, man. We came up through those programs.
You know what I'm saying? The Sands back there.
Cedar Hills Rec. That's where I learned how to play because I was 10 years old, and the older guys, they'd be like, "No, young man can play." I'll pick them up on my team. But you can't represent Columbus by thinking you know Columbus because you just got here. You see, you have to be true representation is you choosing somebody who has shared in the experiences. Look, I don't have to talk about what I've done, and I have done more than any other candidate. You understand? I was talking about the buyback the block program. I've committed $1 million of my own money. I've already purchased a whole block. The Columbus Times was a building that was neglected. You understand? And it was getting ready to go back to some folks who was going to totally rearrange it. Even the city wanted it. But I said, nah, we ain't going to do that. I could have easily purchased something in the north. You understand? But look, we see, I don't fault any growth in any area or by any group of people or by any person, because ultimately they took advantage of their opportunity.
Right.
Any growth in the North, Columbus, we love that. But what we need is balanced growth, uniformed growth all over Columbus. And so we can't get upset when other groups want to come into predominantly black areas, and they may get a store, they may get a gas station, and they may dominate. My thing is, it's enough folks who are doing well in our community that can also invest as well. And so I can't talk about what they need to be doing or what they aren't doing. I have to be the one that actually does it. And then when I do that, then I believe that, other people see the opportunity, because some people can't see it. It's like going into a house that may be dilapidated, and you got somebody who's a real estate guru, and they can invest in that home, and next thing you know, you have a nice home. You understand? But other people like, man, that home is no good.
Okay, but
Go ahead.
what people are telling me is, yes, economic improvement is important, but what we're going to do about the crime in order to get some of that element out before, because some investors don't want to come until that.
Both go hand in hand. You see, when you talk about crime, you're looking at somebody who lacks the resources. You understand? People want money. Mm-hmm. And when people do not have the opportunities to be able to live, then people are going to survive. And when you go into survival mode, then you're going to go into some ways to make money the best way that you can. And so, I don't look at criminals as being somebody who's, basically a threat to society. I look at individuals who need more opportunities and more exposure to opportunities. And so that's what we have to do in our community. That's what we have to do. And one of the programs I have for that is we need to bring back the neighborhood-specific recreation programs. You understand? The neighborhood-specific recreation programs were taken away from our neighborhoods. City Hills Rec, we just talked about that. You don't see that anymore. They defunded that budget. Belvedere Park, you don't see that anymore. They took that away. You look at
who is they?
The local government took that away. Okay, and when I say that, what they did was they cut the budget for those areas, and those were safety nets for our children. Parents, look, you got parents working 1, 2, and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. What does that do to the home? That doesn't mean that they aren't good parents. It means that they're trying to survive.
Right.
And so, but what does that do to the child? It means that they are lacking the presence of the leadership in the home. You understand? True. And so it creates a dynamic. So that's why I say economic development goes hand in hand with the crime.
Okay, but I still got to push you a little further, because I've been asked. I need to hear something about what do you want to do for crime prevention, or what would you prefer? Who would you like to work with, or would you like to just continue status quo?
Well, I'm not a status quo person, and that's why I've been so challenged. And if you look at it, a lot of people who are maybe in office who are responsible for a lot of what we see and what we don't see, they may not be great friends, you understand, with me. But I'm the type person, I'm going to work with everybody, whether it is somebody who is on the opposite side of me, because I see common ground. 98% of, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, 98% we have common ground. It's the 2% that causes the difference. And so what I like to focus on more is the common ground, and that is we all want to see Columbus get better. Now, what we have been doing is not working, okay? So that, I think we all can agree with that.
Correct.
Okay, so then now we have to look at some other solutions, and that's what I bring, is the new energy and the vision. And you have someone who has the experience of creating programs and building programs educationally, economically, who has already worked with these state entities. So I'm not somebody who does not have the connections, whether it's on the local level, on the state level, and also reaching up to Washington on both sides of the aisle, as well as being a product of the community. So Now, you said, you asked 3 questions. I answered the third one first, and that is status quo. The second one is, as far as who would I like to work with? I want to work with anybody who has Columbus' best interests in mind. I want to work with anybody who can understand and buy into uniform and balanced growth in Columbus. That means not just one part, not just one group, not just one entity, but everything needs to be spread out. Okay, and so for so long, we have not had the money to be brought back to our district. And you're going to have someone who's going to go up there, find the money, get the money, and bring it back to our district so that we can have opportunities that we see in other areas as well.
So, okay, I appreciate that. That sounds wonderful as you're getting ready to run for state representative. But there's a question. Your name been on a lot of ballots.
Correct.
Not held a position in none of them.
Correct.
So how you going to win this one?
Well,
what are you going to do different? How you going to get into state representative when you haven't been able to get
right.
into that? So what's our motivation? What is our goal to get into that position?
Absolutely. Okay. So for one thing, I'm here. I'm here. You know what I mean? And I haven't been here before. I haven't had this opportunity before.
Okay.
And so this is what it's about. The other thing is, someone getting in office is a two-way street. You understand? It's not just about being the best candidate, but it's also about the people making the right choice.
Right.
And so what I'd like to say is Columbus any better having kept me out of position? Is crime getting higher or is it getting lower?
No, it's
is poverty growing in the district or is it being minimized? Having kept me out of office. And so what I'm asking is, give me a chance. Allow me to go to work for you.
Because what y'all doing ain't been working, so we might want to try something new.
It may help the situation. You understand?
What's the definition of insanity, man?
You continue to do the same thing, thinking that you're going to get different results. Yeah. It's time for the people to win. My candidacy, as a candidate, I represent the people. I don't need endorsements from anybody with a big name. Only. Let me say that only.
Only.
We welcome because I have a great relationship with all of the legislators, with Dean Smyrie, who is retired. Yeah. Senator Ed Harbison.
He has given you his official stamp of approval?
Yes, Ed Harbison. Now, when you talk about endorsement versus stamp of approval,
with official endorsement, excuse me.
No, I am not getting ready to put anybody on the spot like that.
Okay.
However, when it comes to giving me the help and the assistance that I need, I can go to any one of these legislators and be able to get what I want, and that's what is needed as a legislator because I'm the conduit between the people and the resources in the state. You want somebody who has those relationships, and I'm telling you, all my relationships are positive. Now, I'm going to talk about some things that I know people, you probably haven't answered, but, when I came out, the Courier is always writing something about Zeph Baker when I run. However, what I was taught was it doesn't matter where you go. I'm going to make sure I'm available to the people. And so there was a debate that was held, and people were like, man, you shouldn't go to that debate. He ain't just gonna slander you and all that. I said, look, man, it doesn't matter where the question is coming from. I know who I am, and I can always give an answer because I'm not talking to any one particular person. I want to make myself available to the people. And so even in what seems to be opposition territory, I'm still going to be there because I'm going to be there for the people. And I hope the people can see that because the greatest endorsement is not by any one particular person who has a big name. In the district, there are no big I's and little U's. I am endorsed by the people. And my list runs long when you talk about those endorsements.
All right. So what is your strong points, Mr. Baker? What is your strength? When somebody going to stand in front of you, they're going to know Zeph is going to do this regardless.
He can hold his drink.
Now, Zeph is, you can count on me to get the job done. You talk to my friends, you talk to people who have worked with me. If I say I'm going to do it, it's going to get done. If I say we're going to work on this project and this is what we're going to build, we're going to get it done. If we're going, whether it's been through education, building schools, whether it's been through economic development, me being able to be prosperous in real estate and close real estate deals, whether it's personal investment, whether it's business. I'm also an employer. I hadn't talked about that. There's so much I can talk about, but I've been an employer. I've owned business, healthcare business for over a decade. And providing not only healthcare services, residential and outpatient services, nursing services throughout the Tri-City area, but you're looking at from Columbus to Macon all the way to South Atlanta, licensed all over the state. So when it comes to business, you get that. But I can talk about all of that, but it really is what can people expect of me as their representative? That's somebody who's going to get the job done, somebody who's going to be there for you, and somebody who is going to make sure that District 140 prospers.
Okay. So I want to get back to economics for a second. Now, if you look at our population versus everybody else in Georgia, we're two right now. We go back and forth with Augusta, back and forth. Then if you look at Savannah, who's behind us, the key thing about all of those cities in Atlanta is they have a true calling card for tourism. It doesn't seem like in Columbus we have that true calling card. So, for instance, we all know the thousands of things Atlanta has, so we skip them. But let's go to Augusta. They have world-class level golf course. You must try and throw me off with that, don't it? You know what I'm saying? You must try and throw me off. You don't want to answer the question, just say you don't want to answer the question, cuz. But, look, Augusta has a world-class golf course. They bring in masters. You know what I'm saying? That's millions and millions of dollars that they're bringing in every single year. Savannah has one of the best tourism districts in Georgia.
We got white
bringing
water.
In millions. So we have
White water.
the whitewater rafting. We got some zip lining.
Zip line one state to another.
And we,
But that's uptown though. Yeah. You ain't got nothing past that now.
So what can we do to bring into Columbus so our name can get on that map and we can get those easy? Because the one thing that I think they tried was they tried the softball complex, and that only worked so far. And, they had the Olympics, so we had an influx one time. But what can we do? What can we bring in? You know what I'm saying?
State representative, first lady, state representative.
Now, I like to hear her ideas. This is what we do on the campaign trail. We listen. So if she has some ideas, please let us know.
I just think that we should do like a entertainment for the youth. Like we had like 10 clubs and they ain't got nothing for them to loosen up the energy they got.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they close out those.
The Hollywood connection was
Yep.
something that we could all, a fun center, then it turned to a nice building.
Yep. I agree. We definitely need to increase the number of programs and things that we can have for our youth, to increase youth involvement. But when it comes to tourism, one thing we have to do, I believe, and I've said it already this morning, we have to develop the Riverwalk South. That's very important. To have being able to walk from Fort Benning all the way to the Trade Center and even beyond, that's one thing. But we need real development. You look at Savannah, you mentioned Savannah.
Right.
You look at their Riverwalk. They not only have where you can walk, but they also have the boat on the river. They also have stores, there's merchandise, there's markets that's there, there's restaurants that's there. And I'll go to Savannah. I used to go for business a lot of times when I was had my homes and everything in that particular area. So, because Billing was there, but I would go there just to spend a day or two on the river, on the square, And so I believe we have the greatest potential to bring in not only more economic development, economic dollars, also business, so that our families can be able to have opportunities to increase the amount of money they bring into their households, but also tourism. Because when you develop that Riverwalk South, there's going to be a bunch of opportunities that are created. Okay, and it also increases whitewater because you have more that people come into. Right now, you go to if somebody comes outside of the city to whitewater, what else do they have to do other than get up in the morning? What else is on the river?
Nothing.
So
Alligator.
Sunrise, beautiful sunrise.
So the greatest potential is the development of the Riverwalk South. Now, along with that, because we hadn't gotten into another plan that I have, I want to make sure I get this out, and that is I'm a graduate of Columbus State University, and I love the fact that Columbus State has grown from on the hill, what used to be Cody Road, now is University Avenue, all the way to downtown. It's beautiful. But I think we also need to be able to pour into our other institutions of higher learning. One in particular is Columbus Tech. Columbus Tech can grow to Columbus South, okay? Because there's a lot of area in land where you can add a campus to Columbus Tech off Victory Drive. Once you do that, then you are bringing teachers, you're bringing professors, you're bringing everything else that is built up around the college along with the Riverwalk, and now you've changed in a complete area of town. And so those are the type things that you'll get. That's vision. That's being able to see more. But when you're from here, you know what it was. You see what it is, and you're able to have the vision to be able to take the city forward. So it's one thing to have vision, but one thing I am happy about is that I also have the connections. That is, again, I'll say on the local, on the state, as well as the national level.
Okay, so we got some questions coming in. What about increasing money in households? What is being put in place to up the minimum wage in the state of Georgia, and what would you do?
Well, to up we definitely need the increase in minimum wage, but and so along with that, we also have to make sure we're business friendly, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, everybody's being hit by inflation. Inflation is like another tax. We already getting taxed, 9 cents to $1 here in the city.
Right.
Along with inflation, that's like another tax. So, we have to do something, and this is where my relationship's on a national level, because it cannot just be done here in Columbus or in the state. We have to do some things on the national level with the Democratic Party. We need to keep them in control, for one, so that we can make sure that we're bringing down the prices and we're creating and building an atmosphere of made in America. And also with those things that we're purchasing outside of the nation, we need to be able to make some smart money moves as well, because that's really what's driving the price up, because it's hard not only on households, but it's all hard on business owners as well.
Okay. So before we put all the schools on the Riverwalk and all that good stuff, and we have so much money, like we
didn't say nothing about schools on the Riverwalk.
Well,
man.
yeah, CSU, all that other stuff y'all talking about putting on the Riverwalk, that ain't gonna help none of our people because we ain't going to the river, because hell, half of us scared of the water. We ain't going down there and get in there no way. So
for sure,
that's so beautiful to have all that on the Riverwalk. If you can get it good.
Right.
But what's gonna help our neighborhood? What are we gonna do? First thing I want to know is our neighborhood. I know you going up there to District 104, 140, 104.
140.
140?
Yes.
So I need to know the impact for Black America.
Okay. The impact for Black America. Okay?
Your agenda for, like the question was, you said economics, but that's economics going to go through so many tours, so many roundabouts, so many people got to get their hand. I need a direct path to Black America, south side of Columbus. That direct number is going to this side of Columbus, absolutely, where our families are suffering. People that are not going to bed hungry. We got elder people laying on the floor because of this. They not able to can't afford their food and their medicine. So What are your, as a state representative, you're going to be directly concerned about our black people in the community? Yeah, beautifying downtown Columbus is good, but those old folks and those babies that's going to bed hungry ain't thinking about that right now.
Right.
So that's good for one side, but I'm looking for the left side on the other side of the track.
Let me say this. Now, when you increase the economic opportunities in South Columbus, then you're bringing money into those households.
Because they building a whole lot of stuff down there. And some of those people that's building not even from Columbus. They get outside contractors. So so the same thing's gonna happen over there where you're gonna give all these beautiful things, and then people from other cities gonna come get the jobs. And Pookie and Ray ain't gonna be able to get a job because ain't nobody gonna hire them. And they live in the community. They can walk to the job, but they're gonna get somebody from North Side. So how is that gonna direct the impact? It's gonna be the same thing, same monkey, just a different dress.
Okay, well, I guess I do have to break that down a little bit more. Some things I take for granted because I naturally do it. When you talk about economic development, we have, on our team, the only licensed general contractor in the city. And from my understanding, there's only 7. So I believe that there ought to be incentives, which there are already incentives in getting these building contracts here locally for what is called, I hate to say minority because that is not the truth here. It's more like the majority minority, where African American licensed contractors will be able to have a couple of more points on the contract bid. So that way we're pulling our local contractors to be able to get these bids because and also an incentive if they hire local subcontractors and workers for them. That's been an issue for a long time.
Right.
And that can be handled on
a buddy system.
On the local level, absolutely. So, but we also have to have people who are elected to make that point from their seat.
Yeah.
And so you
who
have
gives the contracts up.
Absolutely. And who has influence over those contracts. But the main thing is not making the decision for that, but setting the tone in the environment. And you hear me talking about that as I campaign. Been hearing me talk about that. So I know you may want the deeper explanation, but it comes naturally with me because that's what I have done. That's what I am doing. And you can expect the same thing when I get in office.
Okay.
So that's one. But I want to make sure we hit this thing. It's not just about the contractors, not just about the construction workers. It's also about Medicaid. We have to, right now there's a threat to Medicaid and there's a threat to the voting process because there have been a large number of new voters into the process. And so we have to make sure we protect that on the state level as well. We have to protect Medicaid. Right now, Medicaid, we have to expand the services, to be able to hit mental health, with Medicaid dollars, because a lot of us are underinsured or either uninsured totally. So that has to be hit because when you talk about the crime in the neighborhood that goes down is really about pride. When you don't have the pride and what attacks the pride, when you see these old houses, when you see dilapidated, vandalized, vacant houses, when you step out, those are things that the city can be doing. We were just talking last night amongst a few of us brothers, and we were there was a city, I believe it was out in Texas, that once the city got the property back, they offered it up for $1. So to investors, you had to show some type of real estate background so they could come in and fix those houses to minimize the number of vacant homes that were in the neighborhood. Now, when you do that, then now a child and even someone who may be struggling in their particular plot, they're able to still walk out and see development. They're able to see things. It creates a pride in them. So that's one. We have to have these more opportunities for our youth. One thing that you can count on me, I've not only been a part of the Greater Urban League program as a youth, of a summer job. When I got my business and I was able to employ others, I employed youth through that program in the summer. But I believe right now we're in a crisis. And so I am going up to be able to put forth an initiative for 5,000 youth jobs specifically for youth, not just during the summer, but year round. Okay?
Okay.
Along with $100 million investment in South Columbus. And so that is, it's difficult to go into detail on everything, but when you start having that being brought to the district, then you will start to see the change, because there's a lot of other things that go into crime. But the main feeder of crime is poverty.
That's it.
You understand?
And so that's why I asked that.
when we can, so when we can bring the money into an impoverished area and start to be able to economically develop and create more opportunities for the not only families but also for the children, then you start to see things change. And that's what I talk about, is the balanced growth. Okay? So that's what you get with Zeph Baker, and I hate to. Sometimes I do overlook just the smaller points because it's what I do every day. Right. You understand? I don't look at them as talking points. I look at them as that's my livelihood. That's what I do. That's my lifestyle.
Okay. They wanted to know one thing about the one more question that with the Supreme Court thing with I think he just asked you before. So we've gotten out of the mud box there. So we'll go with what do you think about them releasing this about the women not having the right to what they do with their body? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm for everyone being able to have a choice. I don't want anybody taking away my choice. You understand? We'll see how it is handled, because right now it was just a leak.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has been done. I don't like getting involved in a lot of hearsay, because it's the same drama, whether you in politics or on the streets, in everyday life, it's hearsay. So let's wait and see what actually comes out of it, and then we can start making some moves. But it's important that we all have a choice, and that's across the board. I do not want anybody taking my choice away from me. I want to be able to go out here and do what God blesses me to put my mind to, and let my work be able to bring back results. So, and that's across the board.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. EJ, you got another question? We got about 10 more minutes, and we got to get up out of here. But
if you don't, I want to say something.
Okay,
I know. There's a lot of people who have. One thing. Let me just tell you, there's a lot of rumors out here, and it comes because I've run against a lot of power. When you look at when I ran for state representative seat, I was a young kid then. I ran against Dean Smyrie. That's a lot of power. You're looking at the big banking. You're looking at the families that quote unquote, we say run the town. So I ran against power. Then I ran for mayor. And I made history here because I was the only African American. I wasn't the first African American to run for mayor, but I was the first African American to force a runoff for the mayor position, which is the top seat in the city. Mm-hmm. And notice the voter suppression that happened that you didn't see any of our black community leaders talk about. When I ran and forced the runoff, it was historical. Never before had a black man done that, okay? The next time you voted for mayor, it was not in the general election in November. When, 4 years later, when you start voting for mayor, you're still voting for mayor at that time now, during the primaries. They changed the mayor, you voting for mayor here in the city, after I forced the runoff and came and just did miss it, to voting for him for that position in November. Said, nah, too many people come out to vote in the general election. We're going to push it back in May to where you got graduation, kids getting finishing school, vacations, and it's the primary. You don't have the same voter turnout. And so that's the greatest voter suppression that we've witnessed and experience and are experiencing on the local level, but you don't see anybody talking about that. We talk about things that impact us that we check on, we can catch on the state level, because it doesn't impact our relationships, but it doesn't increase and improve our position here in Columbus. So that's one thing. I've gone against a lot of power, yet I'm still standing. So I'm getting ready to get to my point. So what they did was, how did they get black folks to not vote for a black candidate? They had to stir up and create rumors, because I ran against, Teresa Tomlinson, a white female, and also I ran again against Skip Henderson. Okay, those are that's the Columbus power. So how do they strip black people from voting for their own? Someone who identifies with them from the same community versus somebody they didn't know in Teresa Thompson, who had just come to town, and somebody who's been here but has, I'm not going to say anything because he's a candidate as well. How do they do that? They have to create rumors. Okay? One of the greatest rumors that I still face today to explain, which is totally untrue, and that is that I'm Republican. I don't know. I've never run as a Republican. Even when I ran for state representative, it was not as a Republican. If you pull up, I have Vote Builder on my phone. I have it on my computer because I have to know where my Democratic voters in the district. And so the strongest Democrat you can be is not just a D, not an LD, which is not for learning disabled, it's for leaning Democrat. Then you have Democrat, and then you have the third category, which is SD, which is strong Democrat. When you pull my name up, you see SD. That means somebody who has consistently voted every time they open the polls and they pull the Democratic ticket. So I just want to be able to dispel that's a rumor. If you hear people, especially black folks, coming to you as a black woman and a black man, trying to get you not to vote for a black man who is heavily involved in the community, from the community, and the only thing they have to say is he's Republican, you tell them to, please, I'll believe you when you show me his voting record. Tell them to pull the voting record, print it, and bring it to you. And if they can't do that, then they're involved in the falsehood that is trying to split our community. And so, again, I say this is the people's campaign. I am a people person. I have been doing things in the community. I will continue to do things in the community because this is my home. I don't join a lot of organizations, because if I join a lot of organizations, it's like being a jack of all trades, but a master of none. It's ineffective. You cannot join every organization in Columbus and think you're going to be effective in any one of them, let alone the community in which you seek to serve. But what you do see me joining is joining the people. I join in the movements, in the programs that are needed for District 140. And it's not just one side of town. Again, I get along with everybody. Whether you black, you white, you whatever nationality, I get along with everybody because it's what's best for everybody. I want everybody to be able to thrive and have the opportunity available to them to pursue their dreams. And I like to say this about that. Too many of our kids, they don't dream anymore. And so what we need to do is increase their exposure, which is what the increase in the number of neighborhood-specific recreation programs that I will bring throughout the city, so that they can have the opportunity to be exposed, so that they can dream again.
So I like that part. I do. I think everybody here and multiple people who have came on know that we need to focus on our youth, because we're being too reactive right now. We're waiting till problems come, and so. Miss Jolie Vinton has a group called Home Team, where she takes can you say it more better. You say it better than me.
Take kids and do stuff with them every month, trades and stuff.
Yeah, they learn trades, they do things. Those are the type of just more money needs to be put to people who do things like that, instead of going to care, reach one and all that stuff that's not doing their job, and they've been doing their job for the last 10 years. We've been looking at them doing it. Those are the groups that need to do stuff. People who are actually out here with these kids and stuff. And that's an easy fix. You know what I mean?
Need to be funded.
Easy fix.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I need things like that where I can get you to say, that is what I'm going to focus on, so I can hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Is that something? maybe not that one in particular, but taking this money that's already been allocated, but actually moving them to groups that actually are doing things for the children.
Absolutely. First of all, you got my word. That's what I do. That's what I believe anyway. So I don't have to, straddle the fence. I believe that not only do programs like hers need to continue, but we need more of them. And we need to have a better screening process so that it is not based upon who you know, more so than it needs to be based on what are you actually doing. Okay, so I don't have to straddle the fence on that because that's who I am. So I'm in total agreement. You can count on me to push for that, and you can count on me to find you what the resources you need so that you can continue and reach more kids.
All right, man. We got the Mr. Zeph Baker running for state representative, man. This is about the end of the show, man. We got to get up out of here, man. Once again, shout out to all our sponsors, the Kingdom Den, House of Talent Media Space, Fat Mama Lucy's, Hideaway Lounge, Zoe's CBD, Next Level Hair Salon, and the Classic Party Design, man. We going to get up on out of here, man. We appreciate Mr. Baker for coming through.
Thank you. Hey, make sure you remind them voting is going on right now.
Voting is going on.
We talk about that every day.
Monday through
Early
Friday.
voting, 3 locations.
Make the right choice this time so we can do something with these issues. We don't have any excuse.
Who you
If
running
we
against?
Well, I'm not running against anybody. I'm
Who
running
is
for
also on the
people.
ballot?
I want to make it clear.
for
I'm
that-
running
for
the
that
people.
position. Who
I'm
was on
running
the ballot for that
seat.
position, sir?
I'm running to be hired by the people for state
Sir,
representative.
who was on the ballot besides
He
you for
ain't
that
trying to get
position?
no
It's,
shine.
it's somebody else who's not from here, and I don't know.
Who's
if you,
that person?
If you don't know him, why you expect me to know?
I'm asking you to say the name.
He try to
I
stay
know the
away from
name.
that.
I'm asking you to say the
I
name.
need folks to remember Zeph Baker. Look, I don't know who he
State
is.
representative.
I've seen the signs, but listen.
All right, so when it's
representing the
time for
people-
our nomination for radio station of the year, I want you to say we ain't worried about no other station.
Hot
besides-
706.
There you go. All right,
Hey, I
point
can
six.
say
There you
it.
go. Say it again.
Hot 706.
All right.
Listen,
All right,
I'm
there
in
you
the
go.
house. I appreciate not only everybody here, but the viewing audience. This is a serious matter. This is a great opportunity for change in Columbus, Georgia. I ask that you make the right choice. Choose Zeph Baker for state representative. Thank you. And I'm going to serve you well. I'm ready to go to work for you, for us, so that we can all have a better lifestyle here in Columbus, Georgia.
And one thing I want to correct is, there's nothing wrong with being out in the streets at a certain point in time, but when you're running, you can't be out in the streets no more. They use that against you. Right. So, yes, prior to a certain point in time, like 2010, 2012, yeah, he was out there. He can't be out there as much anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, he can. So if you just coming on the scene during that time, he's been running and doing things, sometimes at a high level. I don't mean no disrespect.
For sure.
So you just coming in seeing some things. So
That's right.
something to think about.
Appreciate that, brother.
All right, man, we got to get up. All right, we'll see y'all in the morning. Same time, same place, ladies, right here, 9 to 11. Every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. We got to go, Barry. Let's go, Black. We got to go. Spread love and not hate.